There is something strangely powerful about the way a baby looks at you. No words, no filters, just a quiet, steady gaze that feels almost intentional. It can feel like they are searching for something, or maybe recognizing something. In a world where most people look without really seeing, a baby's stare feels different, still, focused, unafraid. And for a brief moment, it creates a question, not about them, but about you. Why do they look like that? And what are they really seeing when they do? It usually happens without warning. A random moment, a passing glance, and then it lingers. A baby is looking at you, not casually, not briefly, but with a kind of stillness that feels unusual. Their eyes don't rush away. They don't seem distracted. They just stay, fixed. At first, it feels almost accidental, easy to ignore. But the longer it continues, the harder it becomes to dismiss. There is something about that gaze that feels different from ordinary attention. It doesn't carry judgment. It doesn't carry expectation. And maybe that is what makes it feel so unfamiliar. Most interactions in life are layered. People look with intention, comparison, reaction, thought. But here, none of that seems to exist. Just pure attention. Undivided, unfiltered. And in that quiet moment, something subtle shifts. The question is no longer why the baby is staring, but why it feels so difficult to look away. Behind that steady gaze, something important is happening. Not emotionally, not intentionally, but developmentally. A baby's mind is still under construction. Every second, it is trying to make sense of a world that feels completely new. Shapes, sounds, movements, faces. And among all of these, human faces matter the most. The eyes, the mouth, the subtle shifts in expression, these are not just details. They are information, patterns to study, signals to decode. So when a baby looks at someone, it isn't random curiosity. It is focus, a quiet form of learning. They are observing how a face moves when it smiles, how eyes react to light, how expressions change without warning. There is no overthinking in this process, no distraction pulling attention away, just a mind, fully present, trying to understand what it sees. And maybe that is what makes it feel so intense. Because, for the first time in a long time, someone is looking, without looking away. Beneath that quiet moment, the brain is working with precision. From the very beginning, the human mind is designed to notice faces. Not gradually, but almost instantly. A baby does not scan the world randomly. Attention is selective, focused on what matters most for survival and connection. The shape of two eyes, the outline of a face, the contrast between light and shadow. These patterns stand out more than anything else. Inside the brain, early neural pathways begin forming around these repeated observations. Each stare strengthens recognition. Each moment of eye contact builds familiarity. It is not just curiosity, it is wiring. Studies have shown that even newborns prefer looking at faces over objects, not because they understand them, but because their brain is already prepared to prioritize them. And eye contact, in particular, holds a special weight. It signals presence, awareness, safety. So when a baby looks directly at someone, it is not just a passive act. It is the brain choosing connection. Before language, before memory, before meaning fully forms. A silent system already at work. There is a moment, sometimes brief, sometimes lingering, when that gaze begins to feel personal, not because the baby intends it to be, but because something inside responds to it. Humans are wired for connection. Long before language, before logic, before understanding, there is a deep sensitivity to being seen. So when a baby looks without distraction, without hesitation, it creates a kind of presence that feels rare. No social masks, no hidden thoughts, no subtle judgments behind the eyes, just attention. And that kind of attention can feel disarming, because most of the time, people are only partially present, looking, but thinking of something else, listening, but already preparing a response. But here, none of that exists. The baby is fully there. And in that stillness, something quiet happens. A connection forms without words, without effort, without even intention. It is simple, but it feels deeper than it should, almost like being noticed, in a way that is easy to forget. And then, slowly, it becomes clear what the stare holds is not only curiosity, it is reflection. A baby mirrors something fundamental: presence, attention, simplicity, the kind of undivided awareness that adults rarely allow themselves. In that gaze, there is no pretense, no filter, no worry about the past, the future, or what comes next. It is a mirror of what humans often lose as they grow: the ability to be fully present, fully attentive, fully alive in a single moment. And perhaps that is why it feels so powerful, so unsettling, because what the baby sees is not just a face. It is the unspoken invitation to remember quiet awareness, to remember stillness, to remember connection. In a world full of noise, the baby's gaze reminds us there is something sacred in simply being seen, and in simply seeing. It is a small, silent lesson, but one that lingers far longer than words ever could.